Boys, there's this really fun video I actually wanted to watch with you guys. If you guys are down with this. You guys know about Courage the Cowardly Dog? There was this video. I really like that show. It's one of my favorite shows as a kid, honestly. I really enjoyed it. And there's this video that's titled The Horrifying Theory Behind Courage the Cowardly Dog, which is apparently like some sort of theory behind what the show really is about, right? So I figured we should watch this real fast, guys, because I thought it looked really amazing. And we'll check this out, boys, okay? Let's look at this real fast here. Yep. The Horrifying Theory Behind Courage the Cowardly Dog.
According to legend, a skinwalker is a person with the supernatural ability to turn into any animal and walks on all fours. There are stories of countless encounters in New Mexico, but few will speak of them. Too scared, they'll be targeted.
On November 12th, 1999, the 8th entry in the cartoon series aired on Cartoon Network, a show titled Courage the...
Bro, what a... Look at all these shows, though. Dexter's Laboratory, Cow and Chicken. I don't know Mike and Lou and Og. I don't know this. Man, this is some good shows, though. Hello? Oh my god. I'm Weasel was Johnny Bravo with Biz. Ed and Eddie was Biz. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's continue, though. This is like a massive lineup of good shows.
Cowardly Dog.
Holy
Unlike
cow.
the previous shows that aired on the network, Courage wasn't purely a comedy show. Comedy was a large part of it, but it had a second genre heavily mixed in. Horror. Ask almost anybody who grew up in the late 90s and early 2000s, and they'll probably tell you that Courage absolutely scared the shit out of them.
I was just about to say that. Return the slap. It actually did scare me, man.
Many theories regarding Courage the Cowardly Dog, such as the one that innocently states that Courage is a normal dog who is understandably terrified of strangers and interprets them as monsters.
That makes sense.
And the other theory that states that the middle of nowhere is literally hell. However, there is a far more sinister theory out there, one that explains where the horror elements came from. A supposedly true story centered around a terrifying, mysterious creature. This is the horrifying theory behind Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Oh my god. Maybe that's how the dogs see the world. I mean, it would make sense, right? Because they're very protective and stuff, and like they want to like make sure that everything is safe. So if they see something they don't know what is, then they like, you know, they're like, they see it like a lot more scary than it really is, right? They imagine it being a lot more scarier. I don't know. Skinwalkers.
All throughout the American Southwest, specifically New Mexico, there are tales of a disturbing creature, capable of shapeshifting into any animal or human that it desires. Known as a skinwalker, these creatures are described as malevolent witches that can transform into any animal, inheriting its speed, strength, or cunning nature.
Dude.
Tales of the skinwalkers originate from the Navajo and other Native American tribes in the Southwest. They are not made up to scare children or anything like that. Skinwalkers are said to be very real and commit murder for very human reasons, such as power or revenge. Murder isn't an everyday occurrence for them, just as it isn't for us. Most stories that involve skinwalkers don't involve murder or attack, but rather simple, uncomfortable sightings, usually with the skinwalker in animal form or hearing them at night. Not only can they take the forms of animals, but also the faces of humans, perhaps even those that you know. Even in human form, they tend to run on all fours, giving the appearance of loosely wearing the skin of a human, but not quite right.
This is some stuff, man. Some shape-shifting, like, demons that can, like, take shape of anything they want. That turns into, like, The Thing or something, where, like, you can't even trust, like, you can't trust your family or anyone, because they could all just be a skinwalker at that point, right? Jesus. This is some, I feel like the theory of it just being a confused dog, seeing things as a lot scarier than it really was, it seems a little bit more, you know, realistic than it being a literal skinwalker or something. Let's see what he goes with, though, you know?
When asking Navajo people or New Mexico residents about skinwalkers, you'll most likely be greeted with confusion and silence.
Probably true.
Where they'll act as if they have no idea what you're talking about. Only when getting to know them will they open up about their stories of skinwalkers, which almost everyone has. This is because it's unwise to speak openly about skinwalkers with strangers, as any interest in the subject could actually attract them. Or
maybe you could be speaking to a skinwalker. Maybe every like 1% of every human is a skinwalker. That means, how many viewers do we have? We have 1,300 viewers, boys. That means that there's actually 13 skinwalkers in the chat right now. There is 13 skinwalkers in the chat right now. And because we're talking about them, they're pissed.
Or they could even think they're speaking with a skinwalker themselves. You can never be too sure.
Shoot.
Okay, so what do New Mexico's skinwalkers have to do with Courage the Cowardly Dog?
Yeah.
You may be asking.
I want to know that.
Well, an image has been circulating that claims that the show is based on a true story.
That looks really...
The text states, "The middle of nowhere was an actual place located in New Mexico.
Okay.
The elderly couple who owned the house with their dog repeatedly witnessed many strange incidents."
Man, this reminds me of some Hills Have Eyes stuff, man. Like, just the way this place look. If you guys have watched that horror movie... I would like living in like a secluded place, but like somewhere in like a forest or like some cozy place, right? Like some like deserted place, man.
They once reported seeing a creature they identified as a skinwalker. After reporting what they had saw, the family disappeared under strange circumstances.
Okay.
Only their dog was found. Okay, it's easy to dismiss this as a creepypasta or an urban legend or something.
Yeah.
However, things get interesting after looking into the story a bit more.
There's more lore. David Parker Ray. Okay, the lore goes deeper, boys. The dog was a skinwalker.
Compared to the middle of nowhere from the show, is a real location in a town called Truth or...
Yeah, what if the dog is the skinwalker? And the dog that was left behind is actually the skinwalker, but it killed the dog and the family.
Consequences in New Mexico. Eerily enough, that is the town's real name.
Is that the name?
The town had a population of roughly around 3,000 people, making it feel like it was truly in the middle of nowhere. To make matters worse, this is the town where a series of gruesome murders took place.
New Mexico man charged with murder and sexual torture probe. A man has been charged in the death of a 22-year-old woman whose disappearance is a part of a 10-something murder.
Some of which happened in that very house. David Parker Ray was nicknamed the Toy Box Killer due to his method of placing a solid block around the victim's head while he tortured them to death. He has been confirmed to kidnap, sexually assault, and murder 3 children. However, it's speculated that his victims span from 40 to 60 people.
Jesus!
David Parker Ray was known for traveling to Truth or Consequences in search for houses that were isolated and far away from the rest of society, which is something that this town had more than its fair share of.
Okay.
He would use disguises and gain the trust of the family he planned to attack next. Upon making his choice and gaining their trust, he would employ one of 3 strategies: using a sob story to win sympathy and gain entry to the house, tricking the family with promises of fame or money, or cutting the phone line and then offering to help repair it.
Dude, that's like some Texas Chainsaw Massacre stuff, man. What the hell? Was that called Elephant Butt Lake? What Butt Lake? What? City of Elephant Butt. Elephant Butt Lake. Oh yeah. It is Elephant Butt Lake. Yeah, let's go, guys. You guys want to go hang out at the Elephant Butt Lake in the city of Truth or Consequence? What are these names? Did they just like run out of names to use? And they're like, okay, let's go to the Butt Lake in Truth or Consequence. Oh God. Well,
story to win sympathy and gain entry to the house, tricking the family with promises of fame or money, or cutting the phone line and then offering to help repair it. After his crimes became well known, the people of Truth or Consequences demanded justice.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there was almost no witnesses and pretty much a non-existent police force. In order to explain what had happened, many locals tied the story of David Parker Ray to that of the New Mexico skinwalkers. They had many striking similarities after all. Both would sought out other humans, stalking them, and disguising themselves as other humans in order to lure them in. But what really happened? And how does it connect to Courage the Cowardly Dog?
Yeah, I don't know where this is going. We're talking about like some serial killer now. Conclusion, okay?
When taking into account the 3 strategies that David Parker Ray would use to lure his victims, the connection to Courage becomes fairly obvious. Various antagonists throughout the series employ these tactics.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially the sob story and delusions of fame.
Oh, it's just, I've lost my precious dog, Duncan.
Yeah.
Oh my, I know just how you feel.
We'll pay
tons
of cash. Okay,
this show.
Interested.
Eustace in particular was easily swayed by the latter of the
Yeah, he wants the money, dude. He wants that goddamn money.
two.
Yeah.
Of course, David Parker Ray was far darker than anything in Courage the Cowardly Dog. His van was found to have numerous sexual toys and torture devices that he would use on his victims, not to mention the tools that were found in his sex dungeons. But while these stories were unfortunately true, can the same be said for Courage the Cowardly Dog being based on them? And to a further extent, based on the New Mexico skinwalkers? Well, it's incredibly unlikely that David Parker Ray was a skinwalker, given his use of sex toys and torture.
You're a messed up person, yeah, I would say, man, but Jesus.
It's more likely that it was something the residents of Truth or Consequences told themselves to explain the atrocities that had happened, given their lack of witnesses and police help. But regarding Courage, are the
I love this show, man. It was very dark, though. Like, for its time, like, for it being like a kid's show, it was actually like a horror movie. Like, kid version, right? But
similarities really a sign of connection? The house in Truth or Consequences and the one in the middle of nowhere are jarringly similar, along with the occurrences that took place with David Parker Ray and the disturbing stories of skinwalkers mirroring the terrifying events that occur in the show.
Yep.
But still, the creator is adamant in his explanation that the show is based off of older horror films and animations. So, what's the truth here? Well, it's most likely that Courage was based on those films, but inspiration doesn't just have to be from one singular source. It's entirely possible that the show was influenced by the happenings in Truth or Consequences, given how similar the premise and the events are, not to mention location. However, it's doubtful.
I mean, I think a lot of these things are probably, I mean, a lot of the shows is probably like, you know, just based on scary stuff that happened. Like, I mean, it is a scary premise by itself, right? Like a lonely family, like living on like in the middle of nowhere with a dog, and there's a bunch of scary stuff happening, right? You know, it's a good premise in of itself.
That David Parker Ray and his disgusting and heinous actions were the influencing factor. It's more likely that the Skinwalker urban legend inspired the show, rather than an actual serial killer. It's fun to theorize and wonder about shows every now and then, but it's important to remember that in scenarios like this, it's almost always not as crazy as you might think.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting hearing, like, you know, sort of like, you know, people's, what is it called, like theories about these kind of things, but most of the time it's just like kind of like fan fiction in a way, but it's cool, I guess, like learning a little bit about it. I thought that show was amazing though as a kid. It scared me, but it was really good. But yeah, that is. That's how it is, man, basically. Elephant butt leg, though. I think, you know, the the best part about that video was probably the elephant butt leg, I would say, for sure. Oh, no.